Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm down here in the basement gun shop again. I've got two of Arken Optics scopes down here that I'm going to spend some time talking about. Two scopes that really look a lot alike, but they're quite different. And what I'm talking about is the two LPVO offerings from Arken Optics, the EP-8 and the LH-6. Now you can tell they're both LPVOs. They look a lot alike. But with that name that Arken has decided to give these, you can tell there's some different intended uses with both of these optics. I'm going to talk about that a bit and really try to shed some light on helping you guys pick out, do I need this EP-8 that costs roughly about $100 more than this LH-6, or will that one that costs a little bit less money get the job done for me? Now, before I even get into talking about the differences on these, I do have some content out there kind of reviewing and going over this LH-6 because it's a little bit newer, but getting into talking about the reticle on these. Now, Arken Optics uses this KL box reticle. Now, this is a reticle that is not entirely designed for hunting. It is not entirely designed for target shooting. It really is a tactical combat type reticle that can be adapted to be used in the others. Now, this is a reticle that works well for ranging with this box, and you can look at the literature, I guess, that Arken sends out with these optics on how to use that KL box, and it is effective mostly with the 5.56 and the 308, but can be done with other calibers as well. But looking at that reticle, if you don't think you like it, it looks too busy, it looks too complicated, and it looks like something that you really don't want to bother about learning how to use that thing, then neither of these optics might be for you. But let's pump our brakes on that for a hot minute. Let's get talking about each of these scopes. What's the main difference between these optics? Now, the EP line, it does come with that better glass, but we're not going to get into talking about that. They both got the same reticle, and they both really do have good glass, adequate glass. The differences that we're dealing with here, we've got a 34 millimeter tube, we've got a 30 millimeter tube on the LH-6. Now, does that really even matter to us? Probably not for a lot of people. Most people aren't going to be taking these turret caps off and dialing in solutions. That larger tube gives you more of a mechanical advantage moving things around in there. But the difference, that main difference that I feel between these two optics and that $100 difference is the EP-8 is that first focal plane, that LH-6 is the second focal plane. Why does that matter? Well, you guys can see I've got this LH-6 of mine mounted up on an AR platform. This is an AR-9, so it's a 9 millimeter carbine mounted up with this thing. Now, I'm not going to be shooting this realistically, even at 100 yards. Everything's going to be 100 yards or less. With that said, I'm really not going to be doing a whole lot with any kind of holdovers with this thing. A little bit of Kentucky windage, you know, aiming it up a little bit or to the left or the right, but I'm not going to be using the reticle. And why that matters with this second focal plane optic is holdovers and using that reticle, it's only going to be accurate, effective, and useful the way it was designed at 1 magnification, the max magnification, or 6 on this LH-6. Now, LH, that nomenclature, that name that Arken gave this, it can be a bit confusing because it's an LPVO, but it's got a completely different name than an EP-8. Well, this LH, the H generally in the Arken line means a hunting optic. Now, this can be a great scope for hunters that are going to be shooting that 100 yards, 150 or less, or using one of the calibers that are extremely flat shooting. You're going to mount this thing up on a 30-30. That thing's going to work great for you. You're not shooting that 30-30 that far. Just the same with me mounting it up on this AR-9. Now, what you get for that $100, and is that $100 investment worth it with this EP-8, is that first focal plane. So when you move the magnification dial on this guy from 1 all the way up to 8, and you do get a little bit more magnification, but 1 to 8, that reticle, the ratios of everything, it stays accurate at any magnification. So if you come up with accurate holdovers for your platform that you've got it on, you can use any magnification and still use those holdovers. You're not going to get that with the LH-6. Does it matter? Are you even going to be using holdovers? Do you need to be that accurate? Well, that's the difference of that $100 with this guy, the EP-8, over the LH-6. Now the name on this one, the EP, that P is like a performance, a precision P. So you get the nicer glass, you get the first focal plane, you get the bigger tube, so you've got more of a mechanical advantage when you get to moving around your turrets and everything on there. And it is really not a lot more. It's about $100. I got talking with a friend of mine just the other night. He's looking at buying one of these, not sure which one he wants to get. I'm sure he's watching this right now going, hey, that's me. And we had the talk. Do you plan on shooting out past 100 yards? He said no. Well, you know what? Honestly, that LH-6, if you're looking at saving a few bucks, you want to put the money towards ammunition, you want to put it towards your rigid mount, then there you go. The LH-6 is a great optic. I really like the LH-6 for a hunting optic in the way the reticle stays heavier and more visible. To me, my eyes are getting a little bit worse as I get older. I like that option, or that, I guess you could say, feature of that second focal plane reticle in that. Just the same with the EP-8. If you're looking for more precision, it's going to get smaller as you tone this thing down and everything else, but I'm going to cut this right there and try to keep this one short for you guys. So you got to decide, is that $100 worth it? A little bit better glass. I'm going to tell you honestly, I really cannot even tell the difference. I think that glass in the LH-6 is really good stuff. So is this one. But $100, you're going to get the little bit bigger tube. You're going to get the little bit better glass, but you're getting that first focal plane. If you don't know the difference on first focal plane and second focal plane, obviously this video is not dedicated to educating you on that. Check that stuff out a little bit, and it'll help you decide if this EP-8 for $100 is worth buying over the LH-6. Thanks for checking back in, and hey, get these things on out there. Get yours out there. Keep on shooting.